So in this video, I'm going to show a little bit of socialization with 6 dogs. I'm doing a voiceover because the camera microphone is it's not very good quality, and there's quite a bit of noise in the background. So I'm just going to talk about some of the things that I mentioned in the video. So that's my dog, Gomez. Just adopted him about a month ago. That's Jax. I had him for about a year now. Actually, just over a year. This is Guinness, dog I've been training for a month. That little puppy, I'm just watching for somebody for a few weeks. And this is Gage, pointer. Those 2 pointers I'm training for a few days. I worked with them in the past. And there's different personalities here. So, my boy Jax right here, he's a dominant dog. He's not as pushy and inappropriate as he used to be. He's gotten a lot better. Gomez is a goofball. He's very submissive, very happy-go-lucky dog. But Jax is also a happy-go-lucky dog, but he's just a little bit more on the dominant side. Guinness, he's just a goofy little dog, but he also does a lot of posturing. He can be a little inappropriate. He mounts and humps and does other inappropriate things to other dogs. He can be a little pushy. So Gage here got up from the down. Now the puppy's just a puppy, just does whatever she wants. She's still kind of figuring out what her personality is going to be. This male is a dominant dog. Gage, the brown pointer, he's not as dominant, but he's just he's like a big puppy also. So here in this room, it's a small room. Here I'm showing like a little target arrow. I use that just in case things get a little too out of hand, just to kind of redirect the dogs. And I also have the leashes on the dogs in case I need to pull them away from each other. You don't want tension on the leash when they're when they're greeting or anything like that, but they're there in case something bad happens. So the way I'm having these dogs interact, I'm putting kind of at least one of the dominant dogs on a place. I'm not gonna have all the dogs on a free for all. This isn't a playground. This is my living room, and there are rules. So I'm not just gonna let them work it out amongst themselves. So I have Gage and Raider, the 2 pointers, are on a they're doing something. Gage is on a down, Raider is in a place, while the other dogs socialize and just kind of walk around. The puppy's just kind of walking around doing her own thing. So now I'm going to put Guinness on a down, and I'm going to release Gage. So now Gage gets to walk around, and Gage right there, he's doing a little bit of posturing there, a little bit of a dominant display. When they put their chins on top of a dog's back, that is a display of dominance. It's very, very subtle, but that's exactly what it is. Some dogs don't like that, but Gomez didn't care, obviously. So here I'm explaining how I'm gonna have the dogs just in order. I'm not gonna let one dog, a dominant dog posture on another dominant dog, because that could create problems. So now I'm gonna put Jax on a place, and Gage is gonna go on a down. So there you go, he's going on a down. And I'm going to release Raider now. So Raider, you will see some of the posturing that he does, some of the very subtle dominance displays that he does. Now, when I talk about dominance, dominance is not a bad word. It's just a personality trait. So now I have Guinness. Guinness and Gage and Raider have not met before. This is kind of the first time they're in the same room. So a little bit too intense right there, so I broke it off. And I'm going to get in the middle, break it off. They're, it's a little bit better, not as intense. But Guinness is a little bit stiff. Both their tails are wagging nice and high. Very interested in each other. And right there you'll see that is just about to put his chin on top. And I'm just not going to let that happen. And it's a very, very subtle display when they do that. Very, very subtle. To the untrained eye, you won't even notice it. But those subtle displays can create misunderstandings and can definitely create fights. Now, these two dogs live together, so they don't have any issues. From time to time, they get in a little bit of a scuffle, but that's about it. Now Guinness is on a down. And you just see the pointers. Just see how he gets a little bit intense. If you had two of them doing that to each other, focusing on each other very intensely like that, and posturing on each other back and forth, there will more than likely be a problem there. Until one of them decided to back down. So there, you see he's very, very interested, very intense. And Guinness is on a down, so he's just kind of rolling over there. They do weird things like that. That's what dogs do. So here I'm gonna move Raider kind of away and just kind of let him chill. And that's kind of what Raider does. See, right there, I just kind of just separated them a little bit. Too intense for my taste. It's a small room. I can't afford for things to get out of hand here. But you just see that, how it's just getting high, getting tall on the dog, and, getting pretty intense. So, like I was saying, being dominant is not a bad thing. It's just a personality trait. Dominance is not a bad word. That's just part of being a dog. You're dominant, you're not as dominant, you're very dominant, you're somewhat submissive, you're very submissive. It's just kind of who you are as a dog. There's nothing wrong with being dominant or not dominant. A lot of people think a dominant dog is a bad dog or a dominant dog is an aggressive dog, and it's not necessarily the case. There's so many mix and matches of, personalities. I don't even remember what I'm talking about here. But I think I'm talking about that. I've seen fights, how fights get started. A lot of these dog fights start because two dominant dogs kind of get together. People will, put them together to kind of meet each other, greet each other, or socialize, quote unquote socialize. And then I'll notice that the two dominant dogs will start posturing on each other, but those postures are so subtle that they don't realize it. The people don't realize it. So in the meantime, these dogs are posturing on each other, back and forth, and one dog wants to get higher than the other, and before you know it, you have a fight. So it's very important to notice those subtle cues. So here, 6 dogs in one small room.